Hi, my name is Diane, and I'm in San Jose, California. I'm also getting a little glare, so I'm going to take off my glasses. I spent a week milling over the possible ideas for this video, and I came to realize that many of the things that I have learned and had fun while learning them were things that I taught myself, whether it be learning how to write in calligraphy, researching my family history through centuries of British records, or using a GPS receiver in the game called geocaching. So I decided to focus on this last one because I could remember the most about it, but again, a lot of the stuff was self-taught or I had to go and look things up for myself, so I hope this meets the requirements. First of all, I first heard of geocaching, let's see, it was July of 06, and so I was 35, and then shortly thereafter, in November of 06, while I was still 35, I began geocaching, and I primarily went and read about it online and read about GPS receivers online and read all the websites I could find about it, and I joined a website with forums for local geocachers of the Bay Area. It's called the GBA. Everything I learned about a GPS, I either learned by just taking a GPS and using it and figuring out all the features, or by reading about it pretty much in online sources on the web. So the topic was, I guess let's say, using a GPS receiver to communicate with GPS satellites in the purpose of geocaching. And where it took place, the very first geocache I went and looked for was just a few blocks from my house. So that was fun too, because I was able to kind of go at night looking around and not be noticed by too many people. And the first several geocaches I found were in the area around my house or around where I work, both in San Jose. So it wasn't a formal training of any kind. It was something that I decided I wanted to find out more about and I wanted to try. And before I had a GPS receiver, I just used Google Earth to see where things were based on the coordinates, and then not too long into it, I went and got a GPS receiver at Target for $100, and I just started learning how to use it. You get out there and you do it. This was mainly self-directed learning. What I needed to know, I looked up or I tried things. So that was basically how I learned it. And like I said, as I've been preparing to do this project, I've been discovering that so many of the things that I know how to do and that I've enjoyed learning how to do, it was something I wanted to know, so I went and I found out how to do it, and I just taught myself. The fun learning event ended up taking place over lots of time because every time I found another geocache, which is a hidden item, hidden container usually, I learned a little bit more about how people thought when they would hide them and what kinds of things people would use for camouflage. And some of the things that I found were just ingenious in their design. And so there was a lot of creativity involved, and then there's this admiration for the creativity of others. And then also just looking in places you wouldn't think to look in, noticing things you wouldn't think to notice. And that was kind of the enjoyment of it. There's always this little twist of the unexpected with geocaching. And whenever you have one of those, oh, okay, kind of moments, that's really when you know you're having fun. And then why I think this experience was fun for me, there wasn't really an instructor. Again, it was me. Over the time that I was first geocaching, I did sometimes go with other people, and we kind of learned from each other. Sometimes someone would have more experience or they'd found that one before. They might give me a hint. That kind of made it fun as well. But the many places that I went, first it was either places that were all around me that I already knew but didn't know things might be hidden in, or some of the new places that I went to. There's a very large county park in San Jose called Almaden Quicksilver Park, and I've been there several times geocaching. I've gone there with friends. I had never really spent much time there before, but it's a really important piece of history, in a way connected to the gold rush. So all these new discoveries about the places that I would go made the game even more appealing to me. And then places that I've gone to since, occasionally I have traveled for the purpose of geocaching, but more likely I was going somewhere and decided to also geocache while I was there. And so I've been able to make some mundane trips a little more fun by bringing that aspect into it. Like I had to drive my brother and his girlfriend pretty far one time. So my mom and I went for the trip, and we had left them with some family of his girlfriend, and then we went and found a couple of geocaches in an area that I hadn't looked for them before. So the uncovering new experiences part of it is where the appeal is still very strong, and I can still go to new places and look for geocaches anytime that I travel. So that is what I decided to cover for my learning, motivation, and fun interview for myself.